I grow onions every year, and they can be sown at the end of autumn for overwintering or at the start of spring. Get yourself a bag of onion sets. These are Red Barons, which grow quickly, but they don't store for very long. With Red Barons or similar onions, I'd recommend planting a handful every few weeks for a continued harvest in the summer. I'm planting in March, so pop a coat on, grab your onion sets, and a dibber to make planting quicker. For those who are planting at the end of the year, a dibber is a really good Christmas gift for a gardener friend. Sets are planted with the pointy end pointed up, and the roots will grow from the rounded bottom. Planting is super simple. Push your dibber into the ground to make a hole, which should be about the same depth as the onion set. Drop the onion set into the hole and repeat. Their spacing should be about a hand's width apart. I'm planting into one of my raised beds in a sunny part of the garden, but it would be the same process if I was planting straight into the ground. Once you've finished planting, brush the soil back into each hole to roughly cover the set. Then, grab your watering can and pour a little water into each hole. This isn't so much to water the set, as the soil is damp at this time of the year already. It's more to properly cover them with soil. The water will wash the soil around the set, removing any air holes. Air holes are bad for root development. As the soil starts to warm up, the onion will start coming to life. Week 3, the middle of April, shows the first shoots poking out of the ground. Keep the area free from weeds, which would take moisture away from the developing roots. There's still not many sunlight hours at this time of the year, and so you can see the shoots leaning towards the sun over weeks 4 and 5. Week 6 is the start of May, and I've covered the growing area with a hay mulch. This adds nutrients to the soil and slows down evaporation. You don't need to do this, but it reduces the amount of watering these onions will need in the future. Over the next few weeks through May, you only really need to keep an eye out for slugs and snails trying to eat the shoots, and making sure the soil doesn't dry out as it gets warmer. I recommend watering heavily less often, rather than a light sprinkle each day, which doesn't really penetrate the mulch or the soil surface. Week 10 is the start of June, and the onions are growing stronger now with the increased sunlight hours. They aren't leaning anymore, and week 11 shows the start of some scapes developing. Scapes are the onion's seed pods, but they take energy away from the developing bulb. Remove them by simply pinching off the scape head like so. The onions won't all develop scapes at the same time, so check often and remove them when spotted. Over the next couple of weeks, the onions are growing larger and larger, and more energy is being sent down into the bulb. They'll be growing away underground, and the only thing to keep an eye on is making sure the soil doesn't dry out. We're into July now, and the plant will start to fall towards the ground. This is normal, and it's a good sign that we're nearly ready to harvest. Once all the stems are laying flat to the ground like so, they can be harvested. Harvesting is simple. Grab the stem, just above the soil surface, and pull the bulb out of the ground like so. Pull them all out of the ground in the same way, being careful not to knock the camera. Depending on the type of onion you're growing, they may take a little longer, but the method is the same. Growing garlic is almost exactly the same, and if you can grow one, you can easily grow the other. I'll put a link to growing garlic at the end of the video. Once they're all out the ground, they need a week or two to dry out before they can be stored. Spread them out in a tray or a drying rack and place them outside in a warm, sunny location. The skin of the onion will dry out and the remaining energy in the stem will go back into the bulb, and the stem will shrivel up. After a couple of weeks, the onion is ready to clean up and eat or store. Cut off the stem like so, and clean up the roots by snipping them close to the bulb. To store the onions, keep them in a cool, dry and dark place. Some onions store better than others, and you should space out your sowing so you have as many as you need throughout your harvesting period. And that's how simple it is to grow onions from sets. I hope this video helped and encouraged you to give onions a go. If you learned anything or you're already an onion master, pop your experience down in the comments so we can all learn together. Thank you to my patrons for their ongoing support. You make these videos possible and I'll keep trying to make them as useful as they can be. Here are some other videos which you may find useful, including how to grow garlic, which I mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for your time, and as always, happy growing.